Because I love talking about Instagram stories, in this week's video, I'm going to share some mistakes that I see online business owners and content creators make when it comes to Instagram stories. You might have noticed that I've created quite a few videos about Instagram stories recently. I love talking about them. So we have got some videos that you should check out after this one, including how to increase your Instagram story views, as well as some videos about some cool hacks that you can check out and start using to really spice up your Instagram stories and keep them engaging for your audience. So just before we get into mistake number one, don't forget to hit that subscribe and bell button. I create and upload a new video all about Instagram marketing every single week. You don't want to miss that. And of course, if you have any questions or comments about this video or videos that you'd like to see, please feel free to drop them in the comments section below. It's always great to know what you are struggling with and what videos you would like to see in the future. And now without further ado, let's get into mistake number one. Okay, so mistake number one, and this is by far and away the biggest mistake that I see people make when it comes to Instagram stories, is not having a structure. If you want to increase your Instagram story views, but more importantly, you want to keep people retained and watching your stories from the beginning of the story all the way through to the end, you need to have structure. All too often, what people do on Instagram is they will upload a random assortment of videos and photos throughout the day. Maybe a photo of your coffee in the morning, and then you might share a post that you saw on someone's account that you really liked, and you'll share that to your stories. And then maybe you'll share a behind the scenes photo of a project you're working on. And then maybe a cute video of your dog because he was just looking really cute that afternoon. Now, this is not structured, and you have to consider the person on the other end of the phone looking at that content. Now, it might feel like there's a bit of structure to you because you know what's going on, but to that person swiping through their Instagram stories, they've got no idea what the connection is between all of those photos and videos. There's no consistency, and what is going to happen is people are going to swipe away. So if you want to avoid people swiping away, you need to make sure that there is a beginning, a middle, and an end. Now, I'm not going to go into detail about this now because I go into much more detail about it in this video here. But trust me when I say you want to get a little bit more intentional about planning them out. Before you go to upload an Instagram story, just thinking to yourself, what is this story that I want to tell? Is it a tips story, an educational story? Is it a day in the life? Is it a behind the scenes? Okay, that's the idea. Now, how am I going to tell that story? Mistake number two is not adding subtitles. You have to remember that most people will be watching Instagram stories with the sound off. They'll be watching them on mute because they'll be watching them, well, pre-COVID world, they were watching them at work when they shouldn't have been. They'll be watching them while on public transport. They'll be watching them in the middle of the night. So this is future Bella interrupting past Bella to let you know that since I recorded this video, Instagram has been testing a new feature, auto captions for stories. Now, I don't have this feature available yet. I am an Android user, but I know that lots of people have noticed this new sticker within Instagram stories, the captions sticker. And if you have this, you should be able to either upload a pre-recorded video of you speaking or record a video in Instagram stories and then use the caption sticker, and it will auto-generate captions for you. Definitely keep an eye out for that feature, which will be hopefully rolled out to everybody within time. I don't have it yet, so in the meantime, I'm still going to just add captions myself, but this is really exciting news. Me personally, I prefer just to add a bit of summary text myself over any video footage or footage of me talking on Instagram stories so that people know what is going on and they don't swipe off of your stories because they just have no idea of what you're saying or what they're looking at. So mistake number three, linked to mistake number two, is adding too much text and or using font that is not legible, that is really quite difficult to read. So let's address the first section of this mistake, which is adding too much text. Now, again, it simply comes down to the fact that people are busy, they have short attention spans, And if you want to get key information across to your followers, then do not write up a huge long paragraph. Really, anything beyond a short paragraph or 2 to 3 sentences, I would consider that too much text. People won't read all of that, and they certainly will not read a big long wall of text because it's too difficult to consume. The eye just wants to skim information. So don't bombard people with a lot of text on your Instagram stories. Really just pull out the key information, add it as bullet points, add it as a couple of sentences or a short paragraph, but just don't overwhelm people because they won't read it all and they'll just swipe away. And the second part of this mistake is using font that is difficult to read. Now, I'm going to put an example of what I mean on the screen now, and you might be surprised by that. You might think, oh, I've used this font and I like it. I think it's pretty and I can read it. Yes, sometimes when it's only 1 or 2 words that you're using this font with, I think that it's okay to use it. But I have seen on more than one occasion people using this font for sentences and paragraphs within their Instagram stories, and it's incredibly difficult to read. I have to pause and squint to read what that text says when it uses this font. Now again, if I am having to do any work, and this goes for your audience, if they have to do any work to read the text, and that means pausing, squinting, trying to decipher what it says, you've lost them. They'll swipe away. So make sure that text is super clear, super legible and easy to read to keep people engaged with your Instagram stories. Mistake number 4 is not utilizing Instagram story stickers to your advantage. Not using them really smartly, not using them to really gauge who in your audience is a warm follower. Let me explain. So to give you a quick example, when I share a training around selling on Instagram or making more sales on Instagram, what I like to do is I like to use an Instagram story sticker at the beginning of that training to see who would be interested in that training. So I might say, who today wants to learn about how to make selling on Instagram so much simpler? And I'll use a poll sticker. Now, everyone that clicks on that sticker, I will keep a track of them. Now, by keeping track of those people, I don't mean just keeping a list of them and then cold DMing them and pitching them. No. What I mean is I will keep a track of the people who have interacted on that sticker, let's say, and I will engage with them. I will make sure to prioritize getting to know them, connecting with them, building relationships with them. If I have a look at some of those profiles that have interacted on that sticker, and I can tell by their account and the content they're uploading, I can tell that they would be an ideal customer or client of mine, I will make sure to engage with them on a regular basis. I'm not cold pitching them, I'm not being sleazy, but I'm just being smart with my engagement. I'm not just going out and engaging with people that I don't know. I'm engaging with the people in my audience that I know are interested in content around Instagram marketing because they've raised their hand and they've said so by clicking on my poll sticker. So the penultimate mistake that I see being made on Instagram stories every day is using Instagram stories as a dumping ground for other people's content. What do I mean by that? I mean clicking share on a grid post or a reel from another account that you really liked, sharing it to Instagram stories, and doing this a few times with a few different people's content and just leaving your story as that. Now, I know that this often happens when business owners are overwhelmed, it's a busy season, and so perhaps planning content for Instagram stories has fallen to the bottom of the to-do list. And so just to maintain a presence, business owners will do this. They'll just share other people's content to their Instagram stories, perhaps because it aligns to their values, perhaps because it's resonated with them and they think it will resonate with their audience. There's lots of reasons why people do this, and I do understand them. However, it's really not very engaging for your audience. You have to always remember the person on the receiving end of that content, and they don't just want to see grid posts repurposed and reshared on your Instagram stories. It's not engaging, it's not interesting. Most people, almost everybody, won't be clicking on that grid post to go and read more, to go and read the caption, to go and get more context behind that post. And I really would try to avoid doing it. If you can put a bit of context around posts, if you can lead up to it or tease it in some way, then I say go for it. But all too often, people don't do that and they just share other people's content to their Instagram stories. That's not engaging to your audience. So try to avoid doing that and try to lead up to it a little bit with some context and storytelling. And the last mistake that we're going to talk about today is not making your Instagram stories visually engaging. Now, I am not saying that you have to make them animated and they have to be really jazzy and there has to be loads of cool effects. Not at all. All I mean by this is try to avoid sticking to the same old. So don't always do face to camera. Variety is the spice of life. If people know what to expect every time you share a story and they think, okay, oh, here we go, yep, she's on face to camera again, and yep, and it's the same thing all the time, they won't be very engaged. They'll almost sort of passively switch off because they're very used to seeing the same thing. We want to keep people engaged. And like I said, that doesn't mean being really, really jazzy and over the top and putting loads of work into your Instagram stories. It just means being mindful that you don't always want to share the same type of story. So just mix up your story. If you are going to have one standalone story, can you introduce it with you talking face to camera and then add some text on a colored background? Could it be that you start talking face to camera and then you cut to some photos with text overlaid? Just spice it up a little bit. And if you want to experiment with some different hacks and just try and test a few different things, definitely check out this video or this video after this one, where I walk you through some really simple but really fun and engaging hacks that you can use to spice up your Instagram stories. And that's all for this week's video, guys. I really hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you know some new Instagram story mistakes to avoid to keep people engaged with your Instagram stories, to keep them watching from beginning all the way through to the end. If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to hit the subscribe and bell button and give it a thumbs up so I know you enjoy this type of content. And just before I go, don't forget to check out these two videos here. In one, I have given you a month of high converting Instagram posts, a whole month of ideas. Yes, I know, amazing. And in the other video, you can check out one of the videos we mentioned in this one, which is some really lovely hacks to spice up your Instagram stories. I'll see you next week for a brand new video. Thank you for watching. Bye.